Well, yesterday was certainly a very funny day as those involved got to sit around and watch the likes of Doug Ford and David Eby and the likes just make an absolute fool of themselves. It was so funny. We got to get into that. And also, on a not Canadian front, I need to talk a little bit about Doge's finding with the US aid. There's a lot of stuff there. That's a big one. And then lastly, on my final story, I am going to discuss Pierre's border plans. Pierre's going to tear down the barriers, guys. This on Niagara Due North, guys, and I'm your host, Parmesan. Good morning, Canada. How are you doing today? I'm your host, Parmesan. Before we get too much farther into the video, can I please bug you to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you find this information today funny or useful. Now, everyone's eyes were all over the Trudeau Trump phone calls yesterday. It's funny they had a two-parter. It had to have been part of the show, man. Splitting the phone call between two things. It couldn't have been funnier, man. They have the first phone call. There's no tariffs aren't suspended yet. Okay. So then we get David Eby ripping all the liquor off the shelves of all the red states. And Doug Ford hilariously made a fool of himself by ripping up the Starlink deal, which, believe it or not, today it's back on. Doug is going to hurt by this really bad, man. Doug, you're not doing the right stuff. And you're going to hurt. You're going to go down. All I'm hoping for with his future is that Pierre comes in and turns him into a real conservative. That's all we can hope for. We can't go with Bonnie Crompie, guys. We can't do that stuff. And then, of course, the call comes in. And wow, what a phone call. Man, did Trump ever win that one? Okay. It's a huge victory for all the people who are on fentanyl right now and all of their family members. This is something that obviously I'll show you later. Pierre's been fighting for a long time. It's something that had to have happened for a long time, and it's something that wasn't happening on purpose. And all of this happened because the fentanyl flow was happening on purpose, and now it's not. And now we're looking down the barrel of a fentanyl czar. Awesome. Awesome. Trudeau looking good there. I'm not falling for it. Don't worry, guys. Don't you guys worry out there. But come on, you can't deny. We are going to talk about those arrangements, right? And then Pierre taking down the barriers. So after things done, Pierre comes out and has an announcement, and I'm going to show some stuff out of it. So let's get right into the story. So what are we going to do about this Doug Ford guy? I think he could run for the leader of the Liberal Party, man. Could you imagine if he ran for the leader of the Liberal Party? But he would probably win and become the leader of the Liberal Party. And I think he would actually be quite a decent leader of the party, bringing it back, right? Like a dick, I think he just pushes I think he goes where he's pushed, man. Honestly. I think he's just a big dummy. I don't think he has much going on in terms of his own stuff. And I also think that I think Trudeau bailed him out a lot on a lot of things because Ontario's not that good of a spot to be in right now. Thanks, Doug. Now, you know what's crazy? Trump's coming after Ontario, like really bad. Give Doug Ford this, okay? Trump wants the auto industry back. Give Doug Ford that one. After all these tariffs are gone, after the border's done, after everything's back to normal, Doug Ford still has to deal with Trump. Okay, so there is that. Now that Trump isn't even putting the tariffs on anymore, what are you calling the election for, dude? Well, now it's. And then especially that happened yesterday with the Elon Musk thing. Let's look at that. All right, here. All right. Doug Ford, you moron. Ontario cancels $100 million Starlink deal. Premier Doug Ford announced is scrapping its $100 million contract with Starlink ahead of Trump's incoming tariffs on U.S. goods. Ford's government is also banning other American companies from provincial contracts in response to the trade measures. That's another thing that he was doing. Yeah, he's canceling a whole bunch of contracts, tens of billions of dollars worth of contracts for like construction companies and stuff like that. You dumb guy, man. Now he's gonna call them all back and be like, I was just playing, guys. But it's funny. And then guess what? Elon Musk is like, oh well, yeah. What's $100 million to Elon Musk? 1/1000th of a percent? Wow, 1/1000th of a percent, dude. Chill out over there, Doug, dude. So that's the Doug thing, right? I don't. He's definitely on the wrong side, but I don't think he's the wrong guy. Did you guys miss the reaction yesterday? The response that of Justin Trudeau, because it is good. Made Trudeau sound very good. Okay, let's read it right here, guys. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing our $1.3 billion border plan that they can't do without recalling Parliament, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. Okay? That's going to evolve. I know that will. Once Pierre comes in, we're going to see a joint police, a joint international police for catching like border crossers. Oh man, that's going to be good, man. Like an Interpol, but for North America. I think that's what I would do. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar, and that was the coolest thing I heard. We will list cartels as terrorists, which is amazing. That's another thing that Trump wanted. Ensure 24/7 eyes on the border. Launch a Canada-U.S. joint strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we will be backing it with $200 million. That's not something we were going to see if this didn't happen. However, so we need to remember, we need to at least take that into consideration. We weren't going to see 1.3 billion. We weren't going to see 10,000 troops, right? And we weren't going to see a joint strike force. Okay, that's pretty awesome that this is what came out of this. How long until we see no fentanyl, guys? That's what I'm talking about. How long until the tents are gone? How long until we got workers back and unemployment's down? Right? This is great. It's honestly warming. It's honestly warming, guys. The winners of this are the people living in tents and fentanyl, man. That's great. That's what we all need to see around here. That was the point of this whole thing. There's still idiots like David Eby trying to say that they're going to do this still in 30 days and this is not about fentanyl. It's about Trump being a bully. What a bunch of idiots. The only people who are dumber than these people are the ones who listen to them and believe them. And lastly, folks, on today's episode, I leave you with Pierre. Pierre! And he's going to talk about removing provincial trade barriers, which it's weird that there is some.
That's why earlier this morning, I announced a Canada First plan to bring free trade between our provinces, allow our truckers and our entrepreneurs to move goods and services affordably to our people, something that could boost average family income by $6,000 a year and reduce our helpless dependence on the United States. Isn't it incredible that after 9 years of Liberals, it's either easier for criminals to bring drugs and guns illegally over Canada's border than it is for our entrepreneurs to bring their products over provincial borders? Let's fix that. Let's knock down these barriers. Let's have a truly free trading, free market Canadian economy that's capable of standing on its own 2 feet. Let's do that, not to appeal to any foreign leader, but to put Canadians back in charge of their lives and their country. Let us restore the Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere...
Right, and then after that, just knock out inspiration stuff. Yay. Let's bring it home. Politicians are patriotic. Now, isn't that just something weird to think about? I remember hearing something before about that one guy who got arrested. I think he was in Quebec. He got arrested carrying back beer. Right? Gotta knock that stuff off, guys. Gotta knock that off. Also, another thing that I've learned. You see, I always figured that companies didn't want to come to Canada because, like, distribution in Canada sucks. And that's why you see most of American stuff going to, like, Toronto. But no, apparently Canada doesn't let a lot of people in. Canada doesn't let a lot of people... I can guarantee you it's Quebec. And I can guarantee you it'll be Quebec that is the problems in all of these provincial negotiations. Quebec and BC. Because BC doesn't like Alberta. BC can gaff. Right? Folks, provincial trade barriers are coming down, okay? So give a like and subscribe down below, because not only is provincial barriers coming down, but U.S. corruption, U.S. global corruption is coming down. So give a comment for that too. And you know what? Doug Ford is an idiot. And subscribe for that. Okay, guys? I love you. I'll see you guys tomorrow.